Hey everybody, it's Francesca again, here with another WiseGirl, and something I've wanted to talk about a little bit more recently is this idea of other people being separate from us and us not really feeling connected, and this sort of idea of isolation and loneliness that we can sort of feel ashamed about, but that a lot of us often acknowledge even if we're in relationships with people and have full families or are married or part of a organization that really sings our praises, but that sometimes we just feel really alone, or we feel really isolated or confused, or we just feel really like, we can't talk to anybody, and how there's a sense of us and them, or me and you, or, there's not really a sense of we, it's more a sense of me. And it's kind of like me with a frowny face as opposed to me with a happy face, or we with a, more community-oriented spirit. And as we go through the holidays, I think that it's certainly a difficult time for a lot of people. And I think that darker days, if you are, subject to the, spring forward, fall back situation, are not always welcome for people. But somebody was talking to me recently about animals and how horses move in herds. And it's been described a lot that part of what our sense of division is about is this idea of tribalism, in the sense that we often bond with or identify with a particular group of people and then think that we have to have other people think like us in order to be members of our tribe. And if they're not members of our tribe, then we don't feel comfortable with them, or we don't trust them, or we don't know how to interact with them. And that kind of puts us back to feeling like sometimes we're in that isolated space of just feeling like the me and not the we. So, back to the horses, I wanted to invite you to consider what it might be like to break out of this idea of the I, or the me, or whatever that is, and step into a space that's more herd-like, as in H-E-R-D. Because in a herd, the animals kind of move together. It's more of a community-oriented endeavor. It's sort of what benefits one benefits the other. And there's a certain interdependence to that. That isn't just about groupthink or about getting on board with my agenda. It's really about being a part of the same herd, and it's not quite like, being on this team or that team. God forbid we talk about the Jets and the Patriots, or, fans from New York versus Boston, or anything like that, right? Those are definitely tribal mentalities. And we certainly want to protect the things that we care about and the people that we care about. On the other hand, is there a way to include more people in that sphere? And if so, if we shifted our thinking perhaps from an isolated way of thinking, away from a tribal way of thinking, to perhaps this herd way of thinking, which invariably does involve a certain amount of relinquishment of total ultimate control, it definitely means that we have to be willing to work together for the good of all. And it means that we also recognize that in doing that, we are creating less separation and more ultimately benefit back to us in a way that doesn't hurt us. We don't see it so much as a loss of liberty or a cutting off of freedom, but really more an ability to rest in and relax in the idea that as part of a herd, we'll also be supported and taken care of and times when we aren't feeling as strong or as individuated as, we may on other days. So who is our herd, really? What herd do we belong to, if that's the case? And I would invite you to consider that, you're part of the human herd. And that is all people. And you're part of the animal herd. You're connected to all animals, and you're part of the life herd, which is also, plants and Mother Earth. and you're part of the, cosmic herd, which means that you're just sort of part of all of that energy and that matter and life and many of the unknowns that are out there. So, coming back from that cosmic level down to the grounded level and being a part of the human herd, the one that we interact with and relate to and with most often, and that can be the cause of a lot of suffering sometimes, but also a lot of great joy. I would invite you to just consider how are ways that we can connect with one another and allow ourselves to be a little bit vulnerable so that we can feel a little more connected and a little less isolated, so that we can extend ourselves not so much in an effortful way, but in an open-hearted way, to sort of invite others to interact with us in a relational way that is very satisfying, not only to them but to us, and that we learn through this practice a type of interdependence. And we can start small with something little. It might be bartering with a neighbor to say, I'll do this little project for you in your house if you can come over and watch my kid for an hour, or, whatever. You might fix somebody's kitchen sink. I don't know. But that is sort of coming from more of a place of we're all in this together. And while we each have very specific, individual traits, and that's part of the beauty of the variety of life, that we also more fundamentally share very human, common traits in terms of our need for, love and safety and care and attention, and that we shouldn't feel so weird about wanting that or needing that, and that we can, in fact, receive a lot of what it is that we long for when we are able to kind of open up and share a little bit with others and consider creating our own little herd, if it's only a couple of people, a group of people to start, and less of the divisiveness that often comes with sort of the thinking of being a part of a tribe, because it seems like that's a little more exclusionary, because if you're not in my tribe or of my tribe, then you're kind of on the outs, and it's easier for me to see you as other and then be upset with you and don't, not really treat you as well as I would treat the people I care about. So that's it for now. I'm Francesca Maxime. This is WiseGirl. Please tweet me, find me, comment, share anything that you want to say about this, and give me some suggestions for other WiseGirls if you have them. All right, talk to you later. Bye.